and let us all do we can to build a better future. Recently, Sha'Carri Richardson, an Olympic athlete,
who won the qualifier, I believe.
Yes, and broke some records, has been denied the opportunity to participate in the Olympics due to the fact that she tested positive for using cannabis. Now, we here at Heartlands Media are pro-cannabis, and as a cannabis user, I can tell you this. Cannabis is not a performance-enhancing drug.
It's a snack-enhancing drug.
Cannabis doesn't make you stronger unless you believe in mind powers or whatever, but that's whatever.
But you only can believe in those mind powers while you're high enough.
Yeah, while you're high enough. But I want to make this statement here, right now. Sha'Carri Richardson should be reinstated immediately. No debate. She needs to be reinstated immediately. She did nothing wrong. Stop with this Puritan bull. Stop myself. Stop with this Puritan bull crap of, oh no, cannabis. It's not the 1950s anymore. It's stupid. It's dumb. Half the country, the states, have legalized cannabis for recreational use. We covered a story on Wednesday where the Supreme Court was basically saying, what are we doing here? Mm-hmm. Why are we talking about cannabis? It's over. The half the states are using it anyways. What was the Supreme Court, Clarence Thomas, right. Yeah. Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas is basically saying, hey, look, everyone's doing it. Everyone's smoking it. To quote Willie Wilson, legalize it because everyone's smoking it anyways. Mm. That's what's happening. No one cares about cannabis. But for some reason, the Olympics and their Puritan mindset are really doing a big double standard here. So let's play this video. And you know what? What happened to her is wrong. And she should be reinstated. Everyone on social media should make sure that she's reinstated in the Olympics. Let's play it.
Chanel, thank you. And Sha'Carri Richardson joins us now. Good morning, Sha'Carri. I just want to ask a simple question first. How are you doing?
I'm blessed to be alive. That's about it.
This is not easy. This is a hard moment that you're in right now. And I thank you for being on. And I know you wanted to tell your story. So tell me, what happened? What led up to this positive test?
Just honestly, I want to take responsibility for my actions. I know what I did. I know what I'm supposed to do. I'm allowed not to do, and I still made that decision. But not making an excuse or looking for any empathy in my case, but just, however, being in that position of my life, finding out something like that, something that I would say is probably one of the biggest things that have impacted me positively and negatively in my life when it comes to dealing with the relationship I have with my mother. So that definitely was a very heavy topic on me, and people don't understand what it's like to have to, or people do. We all have our different struggles. We all have our different things we deal with. But to put on a face, to have to go in front of the world and put on a face and hide my pain, like, who are you, or who am I to tell you how to cope when you're dealing with a pain or you're dealing with a struggle that you've never experienced before or that you've never thought you would have to deal with? Like, who am I to tell you how to cope? Who am I to tell you that you're wrong for hurting? So I think just honestly, just leading up to that, dealing with my mental health, dealing with my mental as is, with leading up to the games, every time stepping on the track, definitely expected to be a record-breaking time or something like that. So just with that, pressure in itself was also just another thing. With this actually been my first full professional career, my first full professional circuit this year due to the pandemic. So just considering all of that put together, long time, my agent, my sponsor, my sponsorship, my family, knowing me dealing with all of this stuff. So,
Sha'Carri, I just want people to understand where you're coming from, and tell me if this is correct. But it was a few days before your big race and the trials, you found out that your biological mother had passed away. You found out when a reporter told you, and it was after that you ingested some kind of marijuana. I should mention you were in Oregon. It's legal in Oregon. You didn't violate any law, but it was against the rules of your sport. And as you said, you knew that.
Pause it here.
But is that...
Pause it here. Here's the thing. I want to make something very clear because this shows that this reporter doesn't know what she's talking about. Again, because I hate the fact that she brought up, it's legal in Oregon, but you broke the rules. No. First of all, cannabis is not a performance-enhancing drug at all. And again, she, Ms. Richardson, found out that her mother passed away. All right, her biological mother passed away, and I'm pretty sure all of us would react very sad and upset knowing that someone who gave us life into this world passed away. I think all of us would react pretty much almost the same way, like, oh my God, I lost some family member. All right, and I think that the Olympic Committee and whoever's running it needs to get off their Puritan high horse because how dare you try and take away this athlete who she's 21 years old and she's and having run the 6th fastest time in history this year. So she's a record-breaking athlete. How dare you take this away from her?
It's a nice way to take care of the competition, that's for sure. I mean, she should be, let's just say it for real, she should be more like the Olympics. They're upstanding people and, I don't know, deal with enormous amounts of bribery, corruption, malfeasance, be connected to murder plots, being connected to sexually assaulting kids and adults and other people. We should be more like the Olympics. They really seem to have it all together. Instead of smoking cannabis like a abnormal person, she should have just stolen lots of money from people. She should have exploited whole cities. She should have abused people. She should have made huge amounts. I'm just saying, why not be more like the Olympics? They got everything put together. They're they're buddy-buddy with the Catholic Church in some ways and the ways that they like to handle this situation. This is, to me, I think someone said earlier, it's very interesting how this is the person, because everyone's smoking pot now, especially athletes, because it's not a performance-enhancing drug. It is a recovery drug, though. Yeah. It helps your body and your muscles relax. Mm-hmm. And it also, I guess in her case, I don't know, helps dealing with the trauma of learning from a reporter that your mom died.
Yeah, and you know what? Whoever that reporter was, you're a jagoff. That's who you are. I think maybe that kind of information should be given to her by, I don't know, friends, family members.
So actually,
in private,
ironically, it's the mainstream news that caused this entire issue to happen, and they're on the show going, yeah, you broke the rules that we sort of forced you to go into by convening and talking about the death of your mother on national television.
So the Olympics, they've bankrupted cities before. They've done a lot of shady things before. But you know what? FaZe was actually talking to me a little bit earlier before the show started. And you know what? I've been noticing a lot with these large athletic industries and their double standards. I want to bring up somebody. So, there's a guy, Lance Armstrong, who cheated 5 times, used performance-enhancing drugs, to win that Tour de France, right? But for a long time, people kept quiet about it because he was a moneymaker.
And someone's mentioning Michael Phelps, who I remember was caught on camera with on picture with a giant bong in his mouth, and he's like, just doing it. They didn't actually breathe anything in. It's okay. By the way, I also want to let people know. And by the way, if you want to check out our Chicago Reacts on this, who did a really good job at talking about this. The carrying of the torch in the Olympics. This is our Internet Historian video. Has a good video on this on a React channel. That was an event created by Nazis. The carrying of the torch. That whole event where Hitler was like, "That's a good idea. We're going to do that," and the Olympics was like, "We're going to keep doing it." And the main part of the Internet Historian video that goes into that is to go, because they go throughout the entire world or whatever, to how every single city they go to, there are major protests of people trying to stop the flame for, the connection to Nazism, which is something the Olympics hasn't canceled out of their system. But again, we should be more like the Olympics. It was wrong of her to smoke cannabis. But, look at that flame carrying.
It's the Olympic flame. Yeah. No one cares about it. Look, here's the thing. She is a powerful athlete who just found out that her mother passed away because some ignorant jagoff reporter that wanted to do it maybe to get the video clip so they get some sound bites here and there. Whoever that reporter is needs to get smacked in the mouth, okay? Because that's something that, her family members, her friends in private, maybe her coach and everyone together should tell her in private. That's her mother who passed away. And you know what? People have every right to react however which way they feel. But I'm going to say this. Sha'Carri Richardson did nothing wrong. I'm going to say it again, and I don't care about the rules because I want to read a little paragraph from
Before you go into that, I just want to say, if we can't ourselves do something about it, but what can happen is we need to get all the people that are competing right now in a room, and we need to hotbox that room, so whether they want to or not, they're going to test positive.
Yeah. Real quick. So let's go ahead, and I just want to read this final paragraph here. And this is something that's really been bothering me about this article. It's from The Guardian. You could check out that interview as well, but that reporter just interviewing her, again, I don't like the fact that she's like, well, a reporter told you, but you broke the rules. No. Sha'Carri Richardson didn't do anything wrong. So here's from The Guardian. Under the 2021 World Anti-Doping Code, THC is considered a substance of abuse. These people don't know what the hell they're talking about because it's frequently used in society outside the context of the sport. If an athlete who tests positive for such a substance can show it occurred out of competition, was unrelated to sport performance, and accepts and undergo a drug treatment program, the sanction may be reduced to 1 month.
And that's what she's going through. But again, she misses the qualifier, so I'm not even sure why you would do any of that. I mean, it's like that's the thing that when you're doing Olympics and stuff like that, you have to be in peak performance. And 4 years is the difference between breaking a world record and being 20th in the sport.
Yeah.
So, especially for something as high impact as running, she's likely not going to be able to compete in the same way, or maybe has an injury or something happen. Like this literally could have just killed her entire career.
Oh, I actually have a paragraph here from The Guardian, too. Richardson was hailed as the most exciting sprint star since Usain Bolt was aiming to become the first American woman to win the Olympic 100-meter title since Gail Devers in 1996 after posting a 10.72 second in, I hope I said that correctly, in April. Apologies if I got the terminology wrong. One of her 5 runs under 11 seconds this season. She was also one of the poster girls for Nike and could have expected to make millions had she won the gold in Tokyo. So that's the opportunity that she lost.
If all the other runners want to stand and support, all of you need to smoke together because they can't knock everyone out.
She didn't do anything wrong. No conversation about this. So everyone, you know what? I normally don't tell people what to do, but please, let's all stand in solidarity and support with Sha'Carri Richardson. Mm-hmm. She didn't do anything wrong, and she has no reason to apologize. In fact, no reason to apologize whatsoever. And I'm sorry for the loss of your mother, but you have no reason to apologize. It's the Olympics that are in the wrong. It's that journalist who informed you about the passing away of your mother, which I'm very sorry that happened. That journalist is in the wrong. Yeah. So there's no conversation here. She didn't do anything wrong. She should be reinstated immediately. And what this is the double standards of the Olympics. But I think, as Daniel eloquently put it, the Olympics
is a really terrible place. It's really horrible for the cities that compete and doesn't do anything. And there are just strings of abuses, both sexual and non-sexual, that just are attached to this wonderful organization that has the audacity to say that cannabis shouldn't be smoked by people grieving their mother that were told in an ambush interview of their death.
Yeah, and let's face it, everyone's smoking weed. Nobody cares. And anybody who does care is a ridiculous Puritan, okay? That's what I think. So screw the rules on cannabis.
Yeah,
there we go.
The Olympics I think I'll speak for both of us and tell me if I'm wrong. The Olympics, at least here, their rule against cannabis doesn't exist, and if it's enforced, is horrendous, especially considering what the Olympics does.